Hello YouTube and welcome to another one of my Duel Links videos. So today I have for you a Union Scramble deck. Basically this is a new card from the card trader, and it's support for the all Union monsters, but in particular the XYZ engine and stuff. So you can target up to 3 of your banished light machine type normal monsters and or light machine type Union monsters, special summon them. During either player's turn except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one of your banished light machine type monsters, machine type normal monsters, or light machine type Union monsters, returning to the hand. You can only activate one per turn. So the way this card is relevant is obviously whenever you summon one of these contact fusions, being XY Dragon Cannon, XC Tank Cannon, YZ Tank Cannon, or XYZ Dragon Cannon, you're gonna banish all those materials. And it really sucked before because you were spending a lot of resources in order to summon one of these monsters, and then if they outed the monster, then you were pretty much done. So Union Scramble lets you get that advantage back. It also lets you swarm the field and do stuff like that. Now the deck, it's not finalized because I only have 2. I need to get a third one and test it. Basically, I just slightly modified the last deck, the last XYZ deck that I already showed you guys. The skill is pretty irrelevant. I'm using Bandit just because I wanted to try it out. Again, this started like just as a fun test, but it did fairly well, for being king of games, and so I decided to show it to you guys. So for the traps, we run 1 Wall of Disruption and 1 Mirror Wall. And the reason why I didn't go with 2 Wall of Disruption is because Mirror Wall can save you against things like Sergeant Electro or Null Man of Extermination. So the fact that it's chainable at any time can sometimes make the difference. I run 1 frontline base. This allows you to special summon a level 4 or lower Union monster from your hand. So everything is a Union monster except for X-Head Cannon. So basically this it lets you summon 2 monsters in 1 turn and then contact fuse or attach it as a Union, as an equip card or whatever you want to do. Luminous Spark because they're all light monsters, and 500 attack boost is just super good. I mean, your Z Metal Tank, which is 1500, goes all the way up to 2000. Your main beater, X-Head Cannon, goes to 2300. So that puts a lot of pressure on your opponent. But I didn't want to run more than 1 because I had no way of getting rid of it besides the monster effects. 2 enemy controllers, pretty standard, and then 1 Super Rush because since you're lowering your defense, a lot of times you just need that Super Rush instead of a Mirror Wall or a Wall of Disruption. And then the monster lineup, I left it the same: 3 X-Head Cannon, 1 White Dragon Head, and then 3 Z Metal Tank. Z Metal Tank is probably the card you want to see the most. X-Head Cannon is just your beater, but most of the time you're gonna go into either YZ Tank Dragon or XZ Tank Cannon. We run 2 Machina Peacekeeper in order to search those Union monsters. Basically this can search, I'm not sure if it can search a copy of itself. I believe it can. Yeah, you can add a copy of itself within your deck. You can add Z Metal Tank, you can add White Dragon Head, and you can add Heavy Mech Support Armor, which is one of the best cards in this deck. It protects our monster from everything. They cannot target it with any card effects. That includes enemy controller, relinquish. The Kini isn't target, so it doesn't protect against the Kini. What's the new trap card that stops the attack? I can't remember the name right now, but anyway, it stops that, and it's just really good. It also lets you get a Union monster back from your graveyard on summon, and so even though it's 500 attack, a lot of times I'll summon this, I'll get either my White Dragon Head or my Z Metal Tank, and then I just attach it to it. That way my monster is protected from destruction, you know, one time, and it cannot be targeted. So that's basically the main combo. I already went over the skill bandit. I didn't want to use sleight of hand because I do run a lot of back row, and I'm attaching my monsters as whip spells a lot. So there wasn't really, I felt like there was not going to be enough room in the back row for, you know, attack boost, and that's why I went with Luminous Spark. So that's it for the deck list. Let's go ahead and show you some good replays. First duel is going to be against Mokuba, and pretty much when you see Mokuba nowadays, you know that it's going to be, you know, Monster Morph, Gandora, especially when you see the red eyes. That's, you know, that's a big telltale. But anyway, he goes for the cards to the redstone, summons Vanguard. So I decide to go with my Peacekeeper because I have frontline base, so I'm going to be able to summon 2 monsters next turn. And I go ahead and fetch my white dragon head. I don't mind taking the damage. I could have stopped it with enemy controller, but I'd rather save that. So I go ahead and summon both my monsters, and then summon my YZ tank dragon. Unfortunately, this can only target face down monsters, so I couldn't really destroy anything. I protected with enemy controller. Unfortunately, he does have the red eye spirit, so he's gonna be able to destroy it. But I'm feeling pretty well because I have Union Scramble, so I'm gonna get my monsters back. I don't have room for another, you know, another contact fusion, so instead I just attach my Z to my Y in order to get over 1 red eyes, and when his other red eyes attacks, I just activate my Wall of Disruption. Here I use Union Scramble to get a monster back into my hand so I can use my XYZ Dragon Cannons effect and then just attack for game. I had game either way, but in case there was a Grebo or something, I wanted to make sure I was taking care of, you know, that other face down. But that was a cool replay. You know, Union Scramble does facilitate summoning XYZ Dragon Cannon. It's still really hard to get all 3 pieces on the field, but definitely with the addition of Union Scramble, it's a lot easier too. I'm still not 100% sure if I would run 3. Again, I would have to tweak the deck once I get it, but so far I've only gotten 2, so I went ahead and tried it like that. Here I'm going aggressively. I have Luminous Spark, and look at that, 2300. Unfortunately for me, it's a 4-star Ladybug. And my Heavy Mech support armor cannot bring X head cannon back because it's just a normal monster. He's got the Floodgate, which is fine. You can still contact fusion even if the monster is face down, so Floodgate doesn't really counter us as much. Here he goes for Mask of the Accursed. That's also fine because I can use equip my Heavy Mech support into my monster, and if that was an enemy controller, or if that was the trap that, you know, grabs life points and negates the attack, he couldn't target my monster, so he ends up losing to that. He did set a monster, and YZ tank can destroy a face down defense position monster by discarding 1 card, so that worked out pretty well for me. Now this replay right here was very interesting. It was a pretty grinded out game, and I believe this shows just how much effect Wall of Disruption is having in the game right now. Just the fact that that card exists, it's making people play differently, and you're gonna see what I mean by that. We're going up against Aroma Strategy. You know, pretty safe bet that it's going to be Hazy Flame Sphinx. He goes for the Sergeant Electro. This was kind of a weird play. I didn't really understand it. I didn't want to use my enemy controller because there was no need to. And then he destroys Sergeant Electro with Goka. I go for XZ tank, destroy the face down, and then I destroy the Goka. Unfortunately, he top decks the Soul Exchange, so my my monster is gone. And this is what I was talking about when you just lose your resources. I didn't have Union Scramble, but I only had two enemy controllers, so I would have been able to stay alive. But he doesn't even attack. Now, why is that? he was afraid of Wall of Disruption. Wall of Disruption would have made all of his monsters go down to 0 attack. I'm able to top deck a Z-Tank and then just wiped his entire field, you know, with Z-Tank and enemy controller. Here he goes for the Feng Huan, which really sucks. I have to activate my enemy controller because it's gonna get destroyed anyway, and I need to protect my Z-Tank, and hopefully I can top deck another Union monster. I don't. I top deck Wall of Disruption. I decide to not even set it because he can just destroy it with Feng Huan. And this is one of those places where Mirror Wall would have been better because I would have been able to chain that, avoiding the destruction. I get a Machina Peacekeeper, which is good because it's gonna let me add a resource to my hand, and I immediately search the Heavy Mech Support Armor because that's gonna let me bring back my Z-Tank, and then I can equip it to it, protecting it against whatever back row he has. If it was an enemy controller, he couldn't target, but it's a Wall of Disruption. However, I'm still able to protect it, you know, from it getting destroyed, and that is huge in this game. As you can see, he goes for the Sergeant Electro. I flip over my Mirror Wall because I really need to protect my Z-Tank. It's literally the only thing keeping me from losing at this point. He goes double Sergeant Electro instead of using the Feng Huan, which I thought was kind of a weird decision. But you know, I'm still protected for a turn. I top deck the Union Scramble, so now I have a field full of monsters, and I'm protected by Mirror Wall for this turn. And this is where the game just turned for me. He has to go full on defense because he's low on life points. I get another X-Head Cannon. The Z-Tank that has the lower attack goes on the X-Head Cannon. I summon my other one, and then I just attack for game. So pretty grind out game, and I believe that I would have not won this if it wasn't because my opponent didn't attack, and he didn't attack because he was afraid of Wall of Disruption. And that's the kind of effect the card is having in our game right now, which again I think is healthy for the game. I mean, obviously I benefited from that in that instance, but it just makes people think their plays, you know. Well, some people, definitely not these weevil that we're about to go up against. And again, a lot of burn going around on, or being tested in King of Games right now. I suppose in preparation for the KC Cup. But you guys know that every time I go up against burn and I can beat him down, I like showing it to you guys. Here he goes for Floodgate. Again, we don't mind the Floodgate because we can still contact fusion. It was kind of funny because the Burning Lance actually protected my X-Head Cannon from being destroyed because the defense went back up. And here I'm just building my advantage. I could have gone XYZ Dragon Cannon, but I was actually afraid of the Floodgate, and I didn't want to be getting damaged by Amazonian Swordswoman. So I just econ take because I can get my White Dragon head back using my Heavy Mech support. Goes for Mask of the Accursed, which was a really bad play because I'm just gonna contact fusion right here. Summon my Heavy Mech support armor. I can crash into the Amazonian Swordswoman, protecting myself from damage. And I decide to just go ahead and get this 500 in because he's getting low and he's about to take another 500 for Burning Lance. So he had to beat me here, otherwise I win the duel just by ending my turn. He top decks Lava Golem, but that's still not enough damage. I could have attacked for game, but you want to play burn, you're gonna get burned by your own Burning Lance. Goodbye, Weevil. Kind of cool how this deck, sort of counters those kind of decks, because if they use a card, like Massive Morph or Mask of the Accursed on your monster in order to quote unquote lock them down, you can just contact fuse, or you can equip it to another monster and then bring it back the next turn, and it's like a reset. I thought that was pretty cool. We're going up against Dr. Valiant Crowler, the brand new character. Somebody was already using it unranked. I thought that was kind of cool. My opening hand, unfortunately, very bad. 2 Peacekeeper, nothing that I could go aggressively with, and he has a Boxer, so not good. The Boxer is just gonna keep getting counters, and it's gonna be harder to take down on the long run. but I go ahead and go heavy mech support just so I can search for another Machina Peacekeeper. I mean another Union monster, and it's really cool. I always like equipping my heavy mech support. And right here, you know, he attacks with the boxer first, which worked out in my favor because I can use Super Rush to protect myself from the Ancient Gear monster. And here I just equip my monster to protect it. He tributes, which works out for me because, you know, now I don't have to deal with a boxer that has counters. Unfortunately, his spell is going to destroy my X-Head cannon with its effect. Ancient Gear Fist is a pretty cool card. So I end up losing my card even though it was protected. But I do top deck Union Scramble, which is going to come in handy later in the game. I have to flip the mirror wall before he attacks, otherwise I wouldn't have been able to. That's pretty much the standard Ancient Gear Beast effect. He's got the Karibo, so I can't get over it. And again, he's going to be able to just attack it, and the Ancient Gear Fist is going to destroy it. Really unfortunate for me, but I do have the Union Scramble. So we haven't lost just yet. And here's where I actually got to resolve Bandit. Anytime you're at 1500 life points or lower, you can use it once, you steal a face down from your opponent. That's pretty neat. I take the Windstorm, which lets me protect, you know, my monsters for a turn. And here's where I decide to go aggressively. I'm able to summon 2 monsters and protect both of them, which I thought was cool. Because, you know, he did have another Karibo, so I can't get rid of his monster. And even though he is going to destroy my monster, I have a Z metal tank and I have, you know, my heavy mech support armor. I could have gone here into my contact fusion, but I did top deck the enemy controller, so I decided to just use it aggressively and go for a game. Ancient Gears are pretty interesting. I haven't had enough time to, you know, farm them out. I mean, the event literally just dropped at the time of me recording this video. You guys won't see this until Sunday, but anyway, that's it for the deck. It might not be the final version. Like I said, I want to add another Union Scramble and test it out. I like it at 2, but you know, maybe at 3 can make the deck function a little better, because then I can go more aggressively, maybe add some double summons and stuff like that, and really focus on getting these contact fusions out. But that's gonna be it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, like, comment, and subscribe if you want. Join my Discord if you haven't. The link will be down in the description. And until next time.